Okay, in front of the ledge. Art gallery, something that all tourists come and visit. The legislator, all kinds of BS. And now we're gonna do something else that's missing. And I got somebody here. What's your name?
Danny Taylor.
Who?
Danny Taylor.
Danny Taylor.
Yeah.
And we are born here in Fredericton?
No, actually, I'm originally from Dalhousie, up on the North Shore.
Pas français?
No, un petit peu.
Un petit peu.
Yeah.
Donald Arsenault style.
Yes,
oh,
that's his stomping grounds. That's right.
So
on
you
the Bay of Chaleur.
Yeah. So you have some Scottish roots?
Actually, 90% of my blood is Scottish, on both my mother and my father's side, and I have the remaining 10% is Irish.
Is your mom and dad born in Scotland?
No, they were here, but as my father was 99% Isle of Arran. All his ancestors were born on the Isle of Arran, on the east coast of Scotland. Oh, the west coast.
That don't count. I mean, if you were like me mother's from Glasgow, Scotland.
You're closer. I'm fourth generation. Your mother is born in Scotland.
Me mother, yeah. I wouldn't wish this gene on my worst enemy. My God, it's a terrible gene. Stubborn. Oh, stubborn.
Oh, stubborn.
Oh,
yes, that's
very,
right.
very
And then
stubborn.
people say that they're cheap. They're not cheap. They're frugal.
Oh,
that's right. There's a difference between frugal and cheap.
What's the difference?
Well, frugal is just that they watch their money and they spend it once. Cheap is they just don't spend a period on it, right?
Well, I'm not going to answer that. Okay, so we're here for a reason. It's cold, it's windy. Now we have the famous Robbie Burns statue.
Or where it was.
Where it used to be.
Where it used to be.
We're going to go closer.
Yep.
And
parts of it.
How long you been in Fredericton?
I've lived in Fredericton for over 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
So you know a little bit of history here?
I know a little bit of history, yes.
Good. Please tell me, when was it? Okay, hold it. That's for the newcomers. That's the bottom. What they call it again?
This here is what's all the commotion, the base that has to be replaced. These are the granite, I guess what, this part right here that you see, the upside down wreath or whatever, that is where Robbie Burns actually stood.
Yeah, right there.
Statue.
Yeah.
So all this stuff has to be replaced once the base is cleared up, repaired.
And it used to be
literally right there.
Right here. Right by the legislature across.
Facing the legislature and right beside the Beaverbrook Art Gallery.
How long the statue's been here?
The statue was unveiled in 1906.
1906?
1906.
Why? Why here?
Why? Because it's the capital city, and it was commissioned by, at the time there were, I believe, 6 or 7 Scottish organizations that paid for this or contributed to the payment and the commission of the statue. And today, out of those 6, there are only 4. There's the West English Caledonian Society, the Highland Society of Miramichi, or the Highland Society of New Brunswick at Miramichi, the Fredericton Society of St. Andrew, and the St. Andrew Society of St. John. They are the remaining 4 that paid and commissioned for this statue.
How much would it cost in those days, in today's cost?
Oh, I wouldn't even, I don't think you could put a price tag on that statue today to have it replaced or have it recommissioned. Couldn't. Be impossible. I wouldn't dare contemplate putting a price on it.
And there's talk of moving the statue if Fredericton don't want it?
Oh well, there's a couple of cities and towns that said, look, if Fredericton doesn't want it, they certainly will take it because it is a tourist attraction. There's many people that you probably know that come here and take the picture of this statue.
And so why would the city suddenly say, frig with the Scotsman?
You know, personally, I don't know. I know the Scottish. I belong to the New Brunswick Scottish Cultural Association, and the presidents of the others, they can't understand what's happened. You know, it's been here for such a long time. It's like there's some kind of gap that some of the councillors don't understand the history and the importance of the statue. And you know, it's been here for over 100 years, and it's become the part of the cultural fabric of the city of Fredericton. Why would the city turn around and not, you know, pay for the full repair of it? It doesn't make sense.
Do I have to give a good boot up in the butt of Jordan Graham, good Scottish boot, to know what's...
Well, I don't know.
To educate the guy?
I think somebody needs to sit down with him and have a conversation with him. It's obviously he doesn't understand the history and how this statue arrived here and how it ended up being placed here, and the money that where it came from. He believes that the Scottish groups should come together again and pay for that. And maybe there is a contribution that the groups can make, but there's never been a formal request to that. And there's been a couple or a few letters, as a matter of fact, written to the city that I know of. And there's only, out of those letters, there's only been one reply. And in that reply, there is not any mention of request of funding, or that there is a budget issue, that the funds are not available. And all of a sudden, this come out in the Daily Gleaner as a result of Jordan Graham's comments.
Maybe it's Graham. Maybe he's Irish, huh?
Well, I can't. You know, the Irish are kissing cousins, so I don't want to pinpoint that the Irish. I just think he doesn't understand.
He's not educated.
He doesn't understand the history, and what I understand too, at that council meeting, somebody said that, you know, it's only 2 in the world, but there's more to that story. And he Googled on his BlackBerry or his device that he had, and a number of pictures come up, but there's a history to those pictures, and how many of those statues are actually left, and actually how many of those statues are in what kind of condition. Right? There's always more to that story, and there's many different artists, and there are a number of statues, but we have one here in Fredericton that we should be proud of. It is in very good condition. The statue part is in very good condition. The base is a different story.
Just for the record, Jordan Graham, I like him, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we're just having some fun here. But no, but maybe is to, you know, maybe this is the wind and the camera don't go hand in hand. I'm trying to speak a little bit louder. Maybe this is not a bad thing, because maybe that could educate the public on the Scottish
exactly.
issue.
You look at as an opportunity to educate the general public about the history and how the statue got here. And it's not only that it's important to the people of Scottish descent in this province, it's a part of our cultural heritage, right?
How?
Of everybody. It's part of the city.
Yeah, it is. And looking at this and looking at that, I bet the monument got flooded on a few times.
Well, that's what they're saying, that, you know, over those 100+ years that there's been the base has been compromised by flooding, and that's why it needs to be replaced. As a matter of fact, that what happened was in 2006, those groups came together, those original Scottish groups, and celebrated the 100th anniversary of the unveiling of that monument, that statue. And at that time, the city had said that, you know, looking at the statue and standing outside, it needed to be cleaned up. So they finally got around to that in 2008. That's when the city discovered that the statue, you know, the base was compromised, and it was, what I understand, was almost ready to topple over. So there was a safety issue there as well. And nobody's disputing that. It's just, it's a sad point that we've come to this, that, you know, there's an argument as to who is going to pay for this statue.
Money, yeah.
But it's also the communications, the breakdown of communications. This has been 3 years that this has been going on, and if there was an issue about funding, why didn't they come to us in a better form, or in a better means of communication? Whether we're on the web, we're on the World Wide Web. There's a toll-free number that they could have telephoned.
Have you seen the new statue?
I haven't seen the statue. It's not the new one.
Not new one, but the
cleaned up one. I've seen pictures of it.
Refurbished.
Right. I've seen it from a distance. What I've been told, that it's in prime condition and all cleaned up and ready to go. It's just this part here that has to be fixed, and it is. You can see for yourself. It's not the. Of course, it would. Over 100 years.
Yeah. Listen, does the council know how stubborn Scotchmen can be?
Well, I think so. There's a few of them on the council that are Scottish. So
are they?
Yeah.
There's a few Mick in there.
Well, it's not. Don't forget, Scots are not always just MAC, right? There's a Lowlander and Highlanders, right? And it could be a name without a MAC at the beginning of it. That's Scottish as well.
We're not going to go nowhere. We're going to get that statue up in the spring. That's what I think.
Well, I'm hoping that there'll be a resolution to this, and that everybody can come together at the table. This is what this is about. Is that it was a breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
There should have been a better way of getting this communicated with the Scottish groups and getting them involved, rather than having a councillor making a comment based on what he saw on his smartphone.
Do they think that the Harvest and Jazz is more important than this?
I think every little bit is important, whether it is the Burns or the Harvest and Jazz, right? Every cultural aspect has a part to play in this city.
You a politician, Danny? That was a good political answer.
No, I'm not a politician. No, but not by any means. No.
Listen, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
First time.
Yes.
I ever met you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet a fellow Scotsman.
There you go.
Like I said earlier, I would have wished this Gino my worst enemy.
Well, sometimes it comes in handy, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to the politician in there.
Right, yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Good luck.